We lovely people in film industry, we tend to attack a lot with our words and communication, and we try to dominate a lot with our communication. And of course, there is the other end of the spectrum where we want to people please in our communication, and or actually would say nothing, so just to stay safe. And there's actually a middle way that um, would be healthy. And usually people who like to dominate and attack and express their will in their communication really dislike the people who people please and say nothing. And the other way around is also true. People who are afraid to express their thoughts and opinions, they usually dislike the people who express all their needs and dominate people with their talk and etc. So let's talk about the middle way that would be healthy from both sides. Actually, both sides should step towards the middle to be healthier. It's been named assertive communication, and it's a skill set that can be learned, can be developed, and other industries outside of film industry do spend a lot of time, effort, and energy and money on developing this skill set. Well, we do not, so here it comes. This is going to be like a basic run through of the basics. What I'm going to do is I'm friends with some people in what is that word? I'm horrible with words. I always forget words. Organizational development companies who provide these kind of trainings and information and coaching to the teams and leaders of organizations. And they sent my way a little questionnaire that is actually designed to help you see how assertive you communicate, how assertively you communicate. And I think this was published by positivepsychology.com. And just as a side note, positive psychology is the branch of psychology that is inquiring about not the mental illnesses and what is it? Words. They're not necessarily illnesses, but like anomalies. Anyway, but instead of those, what they care about is building the positive, because the absence of the negative doesn't mean the presence of the positive. And of course, we don't have to be happy and cheery all day long and every time, and we have to live and feel and experience our negative emotions as well. But there should be a balance. So anyway, back to assertive communication. So let me just read you this questionnaire and let's discuss a little bit. So the first question sounds like it's inquiring whether you look people straight in the eyes when you talk to them. Interesting, right? We human beings tend to pay a lot of attention to eyes. And if someone is not looking in your eye, it's easy to feel disregarded, not paid attention to, and maybe even lied to. And actually, at this point, let me just go back to the basics. So assertive communication, what it does is help this skill set helps you to express your thoughts and opinions and needs and wants. So it helps you get out of the I don't dare to say anything kind of scenario. But it also helps you to express what you want to say in a way that's not offensive to the other person or people. So it gets you also out of the attacking and dominant kind of point of view as well. And often who always expresses their opinions cannot understand what's so offensive about it. And sometimes people who never dare to express don't understand what's not good about it. But neither is healthy, both for yourself and your surroundings. I mean, your environment, your colleagues, friends, and people around you generally. And now we should get back to the questionnaire. So looking in the eyes, that's really, really important, because if you feel like the other person is not paying attention to you while they are talking to you or you are talking to them, that can feel offensive. Yeah. So let's see what else is mentioned in here. It's inquiring about whether you speak clearly and address the situation directly. It's easy to get into a situation where you don't, like, you want to beat around the bush, but it's actually not helping the situation. It might feel as a safer way, but if you learn how to express direct and clear thoughts in a non-offensive way, then that will that will serve you so much better. Next question. Whether you speak with confidence or mumble and stumble over your words. Well, let's stop here for a second. Mumble and stumble. Well, if you mumble and stumble, well, it's either because you're grumpy and burnt out and you just want to insult people under your nose, but also it can be because you are not skilled in speaking, or maybe even you have some traits, maybe some neurodivergent traits that make it much more difficult for you. And of course, you can work on these skills and skill sets, and you can make it. You can work on it. You can make it better. You don't have to be a highly skilled master degree spokesperson to get a little more confident in how you're speaking. But it needs some effort, and for some people it will be more difficult. I count myself towards the more introverted side, and you can hear me forget words. There are situations where I don't really dare to speak my own mind and stuff like that. So for some people it will be difficult. I spend a lot of time learning communication skills. I mean, practicing. Learning is not enough in communication. Practicing them. And that helped a lot. Well, I might never become as great as, I don't know, an extroverted person would be, but I was able to grow these skills. All right, back to the questionnaire. Whether you are standing or sitting up straight or slouch. Again, it is communication. Your posture is communication. And again, for some people, it's more difficult. But even like someone who's confident in a situation, like, okay, let's have a look at it from the extroverted side now. If you're extroverted and you really don't care about the situation and you are slouching, is like it communicates that you do not care. And it might be true, it might be on purpose to offend others, it might be not true, but it's good to keep in mind that that is part of our communication, our posture. So yeah, again, I completely understand that. More than that, I live that. It's more difficult for some people. It's more difficult for me. I don't know. I'm slouching all the time, and I don't mean any bad with that. It's just me. I could make it better. I should probably make it better, but I have 1,000 other things where what I'm working on to make better at the moment. So don't stress out about it if you are. Yeah, you cannot work on all of your sides all at once, and you cannot make yourself perfect, and you shouldn't. Okay, back to the question. Whether you're confident in asking questions when you need clarification. Now, this is an important one. I've experienced, even in myself a lot, that sometimes people told me a whole bunch of information. I wasn't feeling clear enough about the main goal and thing and what they want and how specifically they want it. And I remember occasions when I was not confident enough to ask further questions for clarification, and it led to nasty things. And of course, it has both two sides. If you don't let people to ask further questions to clarify the details, then you are also not being assertive. So it takes two people. Two sides in communication. It might be groups to groups or individual to group, but it takes both sides. If one side is assertive, at least it makes things so much better. If both sides would be assertive, I see that not happening in the near future in film industry. That everyone would be assertive anyway. So yeah, that's an important thing to know. being comfortable around others. Again, I don't necessarily agree completely with these questions. Like, anyway, no, forget that question. I don't agree with that. You're able to say no when you don't want to do something. Well, it's a tough thing in film industry. We are always afraid of losing our jobs or breaking our careers if we say no, and that leads to a lot of nasty things again. Yeah, this is a skill set, and right now I'm not talking about how to develop the skill set. I'm just mentioning some notes and side notes and covering here what is being covered in assertiveness and assertive communication. And I just want to draw attention to these and tell you that these are skills that can be developed. Certainly comes more easier for some people. It's harder work for other people. But it's not something you're born with and you're going to die with the same amount of level of skill that you were born with. It's a skill set. So yeah, saying no. Or ability to express your feelings appropriately. Now, this one I love because this applies even more to like classically speaking extroverted people. One thing is that you express your feelings and maybe you don't express your feelings, and that's what you want to work on. But the other thing is to express your feelings in an appropriate manner. Like if you're frustrated with how your colleague is doing something or not doing something, well, first of all, work on your patience. On the other hand, from the assertiveness side, you can learn how to phrase things, and it includes phrasing, tone of voice, and posture, all of these, to make that expression not intimidating, not dominating, but completely appropriate, and to include in that communication, in that expression, a way for the other party to feel like welcomed into this situation, to feel like their feelings matter as well, and they should express their feelings. It's not easy. It's completely learnable and doable. And yeah. So, what is next? Offering your opinion when you disagree with something or someone. It's kind of the same thing as the previous one, but not with feelings, but rather with opinions and thoughts and ideas. So I just recommend the same thing, and I can tell you the same thing about that. Whether you defend yourself when blamed for something that wasn't your fault. And I would add, even if it was your fault, an inappropriate blaming and inflating small problems, errors, and mistakes is also something I think we should defend ourselves from, against, something like that. It's a tricky question in film industry. Again, you can waste so much time arguing about these. I know it's not easy to remember these at the end of the day, but if you could and can discuss these at the end of the day, maybe take some notes. If there is a situation where you were blamed for something that was not your fault, but in the rush, you just didn't have time to explain what, why, and how. Maybe you just said it wasn't my fault, but we will talk about it at the end of the shift. And I don't know, take some notes, send yourself an email about it, and at the end of the day, just bring it up. It's important. Yeah, and it's in assertive communication, I think this was the last question on this list, again, from positivepsychology.com, recommended to me by my friends in organizational development companies. I myself learned some positive psychology. I love the topic. I love the tools, and they are like clinically proven. How do you say that? Like research-based methods and exercises that are in positive psychology, and positive psychology is part of psychology, so it's an official thing. It's not like I don't know. It's not like just a brand or like I don't know, something like that. So the what you're saying, how you're saying it, tone of voice. The what? No, sorry, I take it back. The what is the what. You cannot do anything about the what. The how you're saying it, the tone of voice. Your purpose is your purpose to dominate. Is your purpose to hide the truth or something like that? Because that's not too assertive. That will cause problems potentially. So tone of voice, posture, choice of words is really important. Yeah. So this is like a really quick overview of what we mean by assertive communication. What are the subtopics that we think about when we talk about that? Again, it's not an easy topic. Certainly, it's the number one that we should work on. I mean, other industries suffer the same, but other industries have training companies like that can teach these to teams and leaders, and we don't. We might hear about those in like film studio trainings and stuff, but whatever. It's not something that you just hear about once and it will work. It's something you have to work on. So, yeah. I think that's it for this episode. I hope you were able to find something useful in this. I hope you will go after this topic of assertive communication, research it, read some books on it, read some articles, and start watching yourself how you are doing these during the day. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I was Peter Varnay, and in this project of mine called Film Life Lab, I'm covering the topics and skills of humans to humans interactions, and human to self counts as that as well, used in film industry. Because we are really good with human to tools like cameras or paintbrushes or I don't know, makeup tools and hairdressing tools and scissors and we are really good with human to art, but we kind of suck at human to human interactions. So I know I'm not enough alone to change this. And this is why I encourage you to start discussions with your own people, with your own group, with start creating content about it like me. It's an important topic. It has to be heard. It has to come to the storefront. We have to talk about this a lot. So I'm kind of importing the knowledge from other industries where it's already being more widespread and more used and deeply researched, I must say. All of these things are research based. So, not just nice theories to make the world a better place, but ultimately they will make the world a better place and will make film industry a better place. Thank you so much for listening. If you love the content, feel free to follow me on other platforms where I post. If maybe you enjoy consuming content in other formats. And the most important thing I usually say is just have a lovely day. Bye bye.